Hey G.I. Joe fans, Show Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. This is actually going to be a second review for the week. I've been getting some good response back on Outpost Defender. What a cool little playset that is. It looks great for dioramas, displays very well, and it really spurns the imagination. And that is one conversation that I had with a viewer. Let me pull up his name real quick. So this was a good conversation with Role Model as his handle on YouTube. His icon has a picture of a German Shepherd, it appears. He briefly mentioned that imagination is being wasted on technology, or vice versa. He watches his nieces and nephews play, and it's all on electronics. But when we played as kids, it was our imagination. Playing with our Joes or any other toys, setting up scenarios, acting those out. A lot of people played with live scenarios, something that they had seen in a movie or read about, and they played realistically. And these toys really spurned the imagination. Man, when I was a kid, I remember I had a little pilot for a gas oven. It looked like a torso of a human of some sort. It had two outlets here for the arms, and it had a little neck and a round head, and a spot in the face where you could, and that round part at the top where it looked like it would screw something in. Well, when I found that became a robot for my Joes. So children's imagination is a beautiful thing. And yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change with technology, because we're seeing technology that we've never seen before. And for our children, today's generation, that is playtime for them, playing video games or any electronic devices. Yeah, it takes away from the imagination, but they're developing the frontal lobe of their brain. They're developing problem-solving skills, hand-eye coordination. And when we were exercising a different part of our brain. So these playthings, our toys, are still beneficial, even though we're looking at them as, well, yeah, it's just a video game. And granted, the kids need to get out. Speaking of getting out, they need to get out and exercise. They need to get out and play, be outside, ride their bikes, skateboards, whatever it is, to get physical exercise so they're not working their thumbs, because we've seen an increase in the medical field of carpal tunnel syndrome. I remember on the news when texting really started taking off, there was a girl that had 2 braces on her hands, and her parents were kind of proud. Oh, yeah, she has carpal tunnel. She's 9 years old. She's always texting, and she's talking to the reporter, still trying to text in the splints. I don't know if it was staged or this kid was really hooked on her phone. And that upset me. But anyway, uh, so I just wanted to briefly mention that conversation. I even pinned it in the conversations. That was a good one. So thank you, role model, for that. Um, so we're going to be taking a trip to 1988. I was 14 at the time, and we're going to be looking at Repeater version 1. He hit the shelves in 88, stayed there for until 1989. There is a file card variant on him, one for the Super Trooper promo, and the other for a micro figure promo. So I'll pull those up here in a second. But his original retail price is $2.39. So let me pull those pictures up for you. Yep. Apologies, tipped the camera. But Repeater, I had him as a kid. This is actually another one that I had purchased. I got this one complete. A friend of mine was auctioning off a bunch of Joes for his son, and I got in on the auction and bought quite a few of them, got them at a decent price. So I was able to keep a lot of that collection together, and that was pretty important to the both of us. But the Repeater I had, got them at a thrift store, just 25 or 50 cents. And he had no accessories, of course. But his picture portrays him as kind of an older guy, square jaw. He's a ranger, which I think is really cool. Special forces are pretty near and dear to my heart, given that my dad served with the special forces. So his picture makes him look like he's an older guy. You can kind of see him as one that the younger troops would look up to. His weapon is pretty interesting. It's reminiscent of the guns that were used in Aliens, the second movie in the Alien franchise. They had guns very similar to this, if not spot on, that were on a Steadicam mount, which is a mount that a photographer could use around, put around their waist and mount their camera on it. I think the first movie to use that was Halloween. So when you could see Michael Myers walking through the house, that was the Steadicam. That was supposed to be Michael Myers, and they put the mask over the lens, and you could see where he was looking. So very, very good idea that they had there. So anyway, enough of my jawing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Pretty interesting character, to say the least. Version 2 was Night Force. All right, so here he is, Repeater. I have him complete with the file card, which makes very nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories first. Pretty interesting accessories. He has a pretty decent backpack. Taking a look at that, it's in that OD green or olive drab, several pockets on it. Looks like he has a bedroll at the top. Pretty nice backpack as far as those go. His accessories come in two separate parts. This is the Steadicam mount. This peg right here actually mounts, it slots into this hole right here on his waist, and his heavy machine gun could either be held in his hands or without the mount, or with the mount. And that hole right there pegs in to the back of the machine gun, and he could hold it with this control, or with that handle. Not bad. That's supposed to be a weight at the front, and this will swing around. Pretty nice. Repeater himself, decked out in tan and olive drab with splashes of black. I like the camo pattern on him. That is pretty nice. You can see that his face looks kind of like a kid I went to school with, but he's supposed to be an older looking guy. Black hair. He has a cap on the front, and his airborne wings, are right here, and the Ranger tab is up at the top. He is wearing a green tactical vest, which has straps around the back. That's supposed to be for the backpack, and that's over this tan camo. Very nice. Wearing a sleeveless or a fingerless glove on one hand, which, you know, pretty cool. Pockets on both legs. Not quite sure what this is supposed to be on his belt, but it's pretty nice nonetheless. More pouches on his belt, and black combat boots. And what really surprises me, he has no hand grenades anywhere to be found. And usually Hasbro decks action figures out in hand grenades. So looking at his file card, has the little instructions on how to fit the gun to his body. According to, it looks like the picture here has a cable there, so that might be a battery pack there on his waist to control, help control the swing of the gun. H1 down in the corner, so this was probably 1989 or 90. Time you see an H1, that's a second release of the file card. So his code name is Repeater. He's a Steadicam machine gunner. His file name is Theron Jeffrey R, serial number 343267890. Military specialty infantry, secondary military specialty heavy weapons. His birthplace was Cumberland, Rhode Island. He is an E6. So that means he has 3 chevrons pointing up and 1 pointing down. 3 chevrons and a rocker. Make him a staff sergeant. Middle paragraph. With close to 20 years in the Army, Repeater never got any higher rank than E6. His performance in the field is always top-notch, but could never hack it in garrison. He's not a barrack soldier, never could be, but send him out in the bush beyond the furthest base camp, and you'll find that he's the one the other grunts want to soldier with, because he is the one who's going to bring the grunts back in one piece. So this man loves being a soldier. He's comfortable being a staff sergeant. He is a non-commissioned officer. I don't think somebody with this temperament would make a good officer. He feels like he could lead better from behind, or from up at the front ranks instead of behind. Bottom paragraph reads a quote, "The machine gunner is probably the toughest job in the infantry squad. Number 1, he's got the heaviest load to carry. Number 2, as soon as he starts firing, the enemy knows where he is because it's primary and becomes a primary target. Number 3, the squad depends on him to keep firing through all of this to provide maneuvering cover. Your machine gunner should always be the strongest, most stand-up troop you have." End quote. And I agree. He's the one that'll be laying down suppressive fire to let troops advance, and also to keep the enemy's heads down. In World War I, the commanders considered the heavy machine guns as part of artillery, and they used it as such to help keep the Germans' heads down. They would fire their artillery and then go with a barrage of the heavy machine guns. The troops would advance, and they would repeat that. So it could be used for suppressive fire and as artillery. And actually, I just learned about the machine guns being used as artillery. Just learned that about an hour ago. I was watching a documentary on World War I and about the Canadian troops. And it was one of their commanders that decided that. So it became standard through the Allied forces. So, nice little bit of history there. He, repeater here, is the replacement for Roadblock as the heavy machine gunner. Roadblock version 2 was from 86 to 88. And then they retired him and put repeater in. So G.I. Joe did not go without a heavy machine gunner. So here is my favorite segment, Byron's Gripes. For you guys just joining, I do Byron's Gripes as a way to help you know what the prices are, what to expect, what I think is a good price, and also just to point out some of the insanity that's out there on eBay. And I don't do it to pick on eBay or the sellers. It's kind of entertainment and educational at the same time. Apparently repeater isn't very popular, as I found several pages worth of stuff. So it took me a little bit of time to condense everything down in prices. People are selling a lot of his parts as well, replacement, customized, stuff like that. And he wouldn't be a bad guy to customize. You just swap out the head and you have a whole new figure. It just make sure that his head's on the rocker, and not a swivel head, because that just won't work in the way the mold is. All right, so he bare bones, absolutely no accessories. We're looking at $6.99 to $10.99. That's not too bad. $10.99 is a little high for me, but I would still pay it, given that his accessories are pretty cheap to find. Incomplete, meaning he's missing a few of his accessories. $9.99 to $14.95. Not bad. That's getting a little bit better. I wouldn't mind paying $14.95 for him. Again, his accessories are fairly cheap. Complete, we're looking at $13 all the way up to $40. Now, $40 is a bit much for this guy. Very common action figure, not very popular. So $40 is asking a lot, and that guy, and he may get it one day, but he had an or better offer, so he's open to negotiations on that. Now there's one that's complete with the file card, $19.99, deal of the day on that, up to $45. No, not. Does that action figure come to life at night? If it did, I'd pay the $45 just to see that, but I don't think so. $45 is just a little bit too much. His complete accessories, backpack, machine gun mount, and gun, $12.99 or better offer. Not bad for that. His file card, somebody is wanting $9.75 for his file card. I wouldn't pay that much for somebody this new into the line. I mean, he's almost at the end of the line. I would pay that much for, let's say, Cobra Commander version 1. Actually, for a version 1 of Cobra Commander, that is a great deal. His stabilizer, $8. Yeah, it's kind of high, but it looks like a part that's easily lost. Accessories with file card, $9.99. Deal of the day on that. Full card back, $9.58. Deal of the day, up to $24.99. Absolutely not. Again, if it were something from 82, 83, yeah, I would pay that for a full card back, but not something that's right in the middle of the line. Not at all. That is just ridiculous. His gun by itself, $4. Mint on card, $189.99 to $199.99. $199.99 is asking a lot. The $189 is actually fairly decent, giving a mint on card figure. But I am starting to question the mint on card figures because people are reproducing the card backs. They look great. They're taking a near mint or mint action figure and resealing them onto a card. So an unsuspecting buyer could pick one of those up and say, hey, this is original. Thus far, of course, I haven't bought any, but thus far, I'm seeing that people are, being very honest and saying, "Hey, it's on a reproduction card." The only way you could really tell that is to hold it in your hand. The card stock will feel different. The print will look different. The bubbles and the glue, every fine detail on that shows age and wear. There are things that you have to look at in person that a picture just will not reveal, especially the feel of the card stock. Yeah, a good example would be card stock for the Fun School. It's a thinner card, so you'd see and feel the difference between one that's North American release and one that's India. So anyway, continuing on, complete with a full card back, $39.99. That's not bad. I would actually pay that. I'll put that with the deal of the day. You're getting a full card back and a complete action figure, and that's pretty cool. The card backs display well. I have a few full ones. I'll buy them occasionally if they're in good condition and at a decent price, but I'm just not the one to hunt for those. And as a kid, I loved the file cards. I had them stapled to my wall. I wish that I would have known what happened to them, because the last time I saw them was in '93 when my parents moved into the house that they recently moved from. They stayed there for 20 some years, and that was the last time during that move that I saw the file cards. I don't know if I had gone back to their house at one period of time after I was married and going through and getting some of my toys and found the file cards and left them behind in a divorce. I don't know. So they're all gone. So at least, I have some file cards that I bought with action figures or by themselves. So that's one thing that I hunt for. I'm not so much the variant, but just a file card. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of Repeater. He's kind of a blasé figure, in my opinion, easily overlooked, but at the same time, he is an important asset to a fire team. So you need a heavy machine gunner if you're going to play in those real scenarios. So that everything being said, you guys take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Remember the Triple S safety, sanitize 6 feet, wear your masks, wash your hands. That's the most important thing. And stay out of social situations right now until this vaccine gets released. That's the only way we're really going to stop this virus is through the vaccine. So it's getting real close to getting it out there. So anyway, guys, please take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Be careful. Be kind to one another, especially be kind to animals. It's very important. They know nothing but unconditional love. So this has been Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. You guys take care, and we'll see you next week.